Today's video is sponsored by Love and Pies, celebrating love and pride. Hi my little tea sippers, it's me, Barbecue, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering the drama saga between All-Stars 8 contestants Kahanna Montrese and Heidi in Closet. What was originally a heated workroom discussion between these two queens on Drag Race has now become a real-life feud. The girls are fighting, and we've got tweets, Roscoe's viewing parties, of course, iMessage screenshots, and Instagram lives to dissect today. So grab some popcorn because this one's gonna be a doozy. But before we get started, I do want to give the disclaimer, I never ever condone sending hate to anyone involved in my videos. And now in the words of Hilary Duff, let's go back to the beginning. So you'll remember that during the Snatch Game episode of All-Stars 8, Kahanna Montrese and Heidi in Closet were on the same Snatch Game of Love panel. Heidi was Blackbeard the Pirate, Kahanna Montrese was Coco Montrese. Can I make it any more obvious? Okay, not the time for jokes. And Heidi tossed some playful jabs, or so it seems, towards Kahanna's character in Snatch Game. And when cut, we see Heidi handing Kahanna a treasure map, telling her that she needs to find the joke. And in another cut, we see Heidi saying Kahanna needed to get a refund on a joke she told. However, these volleys, as Heidi has referred to them, were not received positively by Kahanna, because in Snatch Game, she really wasn't doing too great. And in her words, she felt antagonized by Heidi, a feeling she expressed in the workroom later that same episode. And this heated discussion about the volleys or antagonizations, depending on whose side of the story you're looking at, led into another heated discussion between Heidi, Jimbo, Alexis, and Kandy Muse. And in this conversation, we learned that Kandy allegedly told Heidi when the cameras weren't rolling, if she ever found herself in the top and Jimbo in the bottom two, she would send her home because she wanted to send home the stronger competition. However, neither Kandy nor Alexis admit to or remember hearing this conversation. Well, Alexis kind of does at first and then backtracks, so I'm not really sure what the tea is there, but it was these two heated discussions that led to Heidi getting frustrated, leaving the workroom, and announcing that she was going to be quitting All-Stars 8. So this sets the stage for what will become our multi-day feud between Heidi and Kahanna. And I know, I was surprised too when I was seeing these interactions play out online because I thought they had resolved their feud. The tweets they put out after that Snatch Game episode aired at least led us to believe so. On June 2nd, Kahanna tweeted out, "Me and Heidi have been good and are good. I'm not the reason she wanted to leave. She already decided to go before that episode. I'm warning you now, I'm not the one to play with in these comments. Y'all think you have anxiety now. No threat, but you've been warned." And Heidi tweeted out in support of her sisters, "Please don't send no hate. Instead of sending negativity, choose to spread love and peace. There's plenty of ways to show love and support." Which is why generally I think it's quite funny to see Drag Race fans going into comments and tweets and talking to the queens about the events they're seeing on TV that happened a year ago, because most of the time they've worked through them already. But here's the real tea. It's Pride Month, and Love and Pies, the sponsor of today's video, has partnered with me to help us celebrate love and pride. So Love and Pies is my new favorite mobile game that offers puzzles, mystery, drama, and juicy secrets. And basically the setup of Love and Pies is we have to rebuild our cafe, which has been tragically destroyed by a fire. And of course solve the mystery of who did it along the way. And to do that, we bake some tasty treats for our new customers. And as we earn coins, we get to pay for our renovations. And obviously every time I had to select a renovation, I went with the pink option. But as I was minding my own business and making everything pink, a nosy little reporter came into my town and accused my mother of starting the fire, which of course is totally preposterous. But all we've got is a burnt down cafe and a list of suspects supplied by our bisexual friend Yuka. And on that suspect list is Yuka herself and Gunkle Sven. Honestly, Love and Pies already has me hooked. And they're not only celebrating Pride with a special 2-week Pride event at the end of this month, but they celebrate a diverse roster of characters in their game all year round, from all over the rainbow of LGBTQ. And you can start playing Love and Pies right now by clicking the link in the description of my video. It's free to download and you'll join over 350,000 active fans playing every single day. Thanks Love and Pies for sponsoring today's video. Anyways, all was well, or so we thought, and in the days leading up to the big blowout, we see several tweets from Kahanna and Heidi. On June 7th, Kahanna wrote, "Just did a podcast with Heidi and LaLa and we get into it. You want the tea? We aren't holding back. We will also take you onto a journey into our culture." And Heidi followed up, "Baby, we had really gotten to the good stuff. stuff will be coming soon. But then we start to see a tone shift between these two's communication, seemingly addressing each other on Twitter starting at around 2:30 a.m. Central on June 10th, where Heidi tweeted this: "Watch Roscoe's. Can't wait to be here in 2 weeks to clear things up. I've been lied on and projected on enough." Into a now deleted tweet where I think somebody was asking what she was referring to, she wrote, "I'm not gonna spill it, but sometimes you gotta remind what all you know." And the next thing we've got to look at is a tweet from Kahanna, also on June 10th around 10 a.m. She wrote, "Sis, keep ruffling them feathers. Keep them talking. You're doing your thing and living your best life. Your light will drive their darkness to madness. Still, I smile. That's winning. Now on to the next booking." And then later that day, Heidi wrote on Twitter, "Sometimes you gotta have a conversation with your loved ones to remind you how booked, blessed, and highly favored you are. Though lying is a trigger of mine, I've honestly got too much good in my life to let that distract me. Happy Pride, everyone." And I want to be clear, while she didn't address Kahanna directly in these tweets, we can surmise she was talking about her, because the Roscoe's episode that was published on YouTube around the time of her original tweets was the Roscoe's featuring Kahanna Montrese. And I've linked this entire viewing party in the description of my video, but the key things said by Kahanna about Heidi which seemingly relate to this drama are as follows. At around the 3-minute and 46-second mark, Kahanna's discussing her breakdown about not doing well in Snatch Game.
The whole situation with me and Heidi was, I was like confiding in her before the challenge because I had a full breakdown. I felt like, you know, in that moment, she was just doing the best she could with trying to give energy, and I got that, but bitch, I was struggling. Girl, I didn't need any help to dig my hole. It was already dug by myself, so.
And then around the 4-minute 50-second mark, Kahanna shares with everyone that she actually was not aware of the Jimbo, Kandy, Alexis drama before the situation between her and Heidi happened in the workroom.
I didn't know any of that. And Kandy told me, like, obviously a little bit of it, but I didn't know the full extent of what happened.
And concerning how the heated discussion, we'll call it, between Heidi and Kahanna was started, she said this.
When we're coming into the workroom to get ready, she had came to me and I'm like, sis, I just need a second. I need a second. Give me a minute. And then of course production knew that I was hot. They're like, Heidi, ask her what's wrong. You know, that just kind of lit everything up, you know?
And Kahanna further elaborates on her experience in Snatch Game, where she felt like Heidi was going in on her too hard, and shared that the edit of Snatch Game took out a lot of the things that apparently Heidi had said to her.
It was just a little bit of what they showed, but she was going in on me. And that's why I'm telling you, I wouldn't have been upset if it was just what they showed. Like, girl, but it was way longer for one thing. But like, she kept letting me have it. And I was like, I wanted to take that map and throw it at her ass. I was like, girl.
And then around the 7-minute mark, she talks about how, in general, she had resolved to let this episode be the one where she was going to be sent home.
It was several girls made a comment. Had Heidi stayed, the bottom possibly would have been different.
We don't know that, but what the energy was giving, I definitely thought that that's what it was going to be. And we all thought Jessica was safe that episode, but it threw everything off because I'm like, I knew I was going home and I was fully prepared.
But that's about all I could find in the viewing party relevant to these two's falling out. And again, I want to put a disclaimer on these couple of tweets so far. Neither queen tagged either queen, and we can only guess that they were talking about each other based on what happened next. On June 12th, around 1 a.m., Heidi tweeted, "You ever get tired of taking the high road?" And then Kahanna also tweeted early in the morning of June 12th, "Good girl gone bad. I'm the right one to play with. Hashtag I'm coming for you. Fuel me with your hate. I will turn it into my strength. Fill me up. It only empowers me and that hungry demon I have that loves to cause havoc. Don't be sorry now, but keep that same energy when you reap what you've sowed. I'm the reaper." And it was at this point the queens started directly interacting with each other on Twitter. Heidi replied to this tweet, writing, "Liking this tweet from Norway." And Kahanna then replied to that, writing, "Don't nobody care about you being in Norway, girl. I'm working the world, doing my own gigs in between. When you have your own home, good credit, and that gingivitis halitosis breath fixed, I'll be impressed." And Heidi then quote tweeted this in reply, writing, "Girl, Kahanna, quote, Crimson Chin Montrese. You live in Vegas. The house market is cheap. I could afford a house there. I'll fix my credit when you fix that drooping ass. I took in a parking lot and it got more press than you, girl. Bye." To which Kahanna replies, "I'll see you in Chicago, sis." And Heidi replies, "And don't call me sis, you showed your true colors." And here we also saw a Twitter user reply to Kahanna saying, "I'll see you in Chicago, sis," writing, "Is that a promise or a threat?" And Heidi replied to this, writing, "It's a threat. She already threatened me." And it was at this point that we start to see other drag race queens from the queendom get involved in the situation. Cornbread replied to Heidi's tweet, writing, "You've said enough. You You ain't gotta post nothing else. Remember, anyone in the comments encouraging receipts isn't concerned, they want a mess. Clear your head and go enjoy a show tonight. And the next tweet we see from Heidi reads, remember bitch, you threatened me. Now excuse me as I hop on this flight to London. Followed up with another tweet where she quote tweets the I'll see you in Chicago sis tweet from Kahanna, writing, another threat, should I post the screenshots of the others? Which she then followed up with several tweets containing screenshots of her iMessage thread apparently in conversation with Kahanna. It just hurts because when you were in the hallway sad after Snatch Game before we had to do the confessionals, I was the one that came and checked on you and gave you a hug and told you everything was gonna be okay, but have a nice day. And Kahanna replies, be very careful with me, full threat. What do you mean by that? The subtweet directed towards me. If you wanna play, we can. Ain't nobody playing with you, girl. Just remember what I said. Girl, don't be threatening me. I'm keeping it real with you. I never said anything not true, and keep it real, darling. You wanna play, and I'm just the right one to tangle with. I was 100 with everything I said, I meant it. You said your piece, and I'm gonna say mine. Stand by it. Please stand by, go right ahead. You did that to me, to play like it didn't happen is insane, let's go. I ain't never said I didn't volley to you, girl. You the one saying that I just kept dogpiling on you. There you go again, creating a narrative that's your truth, but it ain't everybody's truth. If we're not gonna get along, we just not gonna get along. Okay, well let me give you a truth you and I can both agree on. You'll see soon, and I know about your, where Kahanna wrote sis track, I'm assuming to mean diss track, to which Heidi replied, good, so does Kandy. Perfect. And I had decided to not drop it a long time ago. Have fun and do you, and we can walk our separate ways, just letting you know you lost a real sister and friend. You can say the same. So basically in these messages, we had Heidi and Kahanna apparently going back and forth about what's happened or not happened regarding the dogpiling or antagonizing, as Kahanna has called it, concerning Heidi's volleys, as she's called them, towards her in Snatch Game. And to all these iMessage screenshots, we have a tweet from Carrie Colby where she wrote, wait, are we really going there? And honestly, I was thinking the same thing at this point because I thought, for real, that this was like an elaborate joke they had concocted to sell a makeup palette or, I don't know, promote something, right? It's not unheard of. Bob and Monet do this all the time. Trixie and Kim do this for fun. But these series of tweets and screenshots made it clear that these two were not joking. Bitch. And it was after this series of tweets that Kahanna took to an Instagram live to share her thoughts in more detail. She starts the video saying this.
I'm not the type of person that, I resort to violence. I don't take those things lightly. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. When you provoke me, I'm coming for you, period.
And then briefly talks about Heidi's departure, saying this.
It was mentioned several times by this particular contestant that they wanted to leave. And several girls can attest that this person off camera was very, very upset about production, very upset about the contestants, how they were being portrayed, them not winning challenges, had a full temper tantrum, throwing stuff, throwing the mic, calling out production, saying that she would tear the whole place down, doing all this stuff that didn't make the edit. Gaslighting contestants, gaslighting us, like making us feel like, no tea, it was her show, not ours, doing all this extra diva stuff.
And in general, Kahanna expresses the sentiment that she feels attacked by everything happening concerning this situation and says this.
I'm just not gonna take people attacking me and people seeing one side of things and not here for the truth. What pisses me off though is having this narrative because your fan favorite looks like a victim and they're not. They weren't ever. They came into on set with the mindset of it was their show and they thought there was going to be favoritism towards them, which it wasn't. So you cannot be mad if production just isn't given that.
She then further elaborates on what she says really happened in Snatch Game.
What was shown was just a little piece of what went down. And I can promise you this, every girl there saw how Heidi was attacking me multiple times. It wasn't just, let me throw a joke here or there. No, she was coming for me and it didn't make the edit. The reason why I snapped was because I needed a minute. But what had happened was Heidi playing victim, gaslighting, and being like, oh, are you okay? Are you, sis, you know what you did.
And ends with this.
When I tell you I'm coming for you, it is what it is. It's on site. What this is just, I want y'all to understand there's two sides to every story. And sometimes just because you like somebody does not mean that they're right.
And at some point during the day when all of this was happening, Kahanna had changed all of her socials to be the villain of All Stars 8. And in an Instagram story, she even wrote, "This is what you wanted and provoked. I warned you, and you're not gonna like what comes next. Hashtag villain era." And then later that same day, we see Kahanna start to delete tweets from her timeline regarding the situation. And then finally that evening, Kahanna on Twitter wrote, "I had a moment, guys. I had to remember none of this craziness even matters. Kahanna, my drag persona, isn't even real. And I'm a fun-loving person, and I'm gonna choose joy in everything I do going forward. I love you guys that keep things positive. Y'all inspire me to do better." To which I feel like I have to read the response of Bianca Del Rio. Okay. Oh God. And Heidi's apparent final tweet regarding the situation read, "To everyone sending me messages and reminding me I'm above this, you were right. Let me get myself back together." Which brings us to a close on the Heidi versus Kahanna Snatch Game drama saga, at least at the time of recording this video on the evening of the 13th. And personally, as a fan of both of these queens, I obviously hope that they can reflect on the situation and come to a resolution in the future, if that's what they want. But they are also two adults who can decide that that's not what they want, and that's okay too. But as always, I want to remind y'all to be nice to each other online, be positive, don't send negativity, don't spread hate, and sipping tea and juicy drama can be fun, but only if consumed responsibly from the sidelines. That's all. And I want to give an extra special thanks to today's video sponsor, Love and Pies. Don't forget, you can download Love and Pies for free using the link in the description of my video, and you'll get to celebrate Pride in the game by helping Sven and Yuka throw a big special Pride party. Yes queen, yes queen, yes queen. Just click the link below. And I want to give an extra special shout out to Ashley Brungart, Dorothy Hall, Felicia, Frankie Jeffrey, Sat, Matthew Burns, Matto, Panda Kitty, Sailor, Sharkies, Stephen Topher, Tyler Hendricks MD, really, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye.